This is new video that you'll see only on WAFB tonight. We asked him several questions as he was brought into jail with an officer on either side, and he did not answer either one of our questions. Fire crews from the St. George Fire Department still on scene here, and I'm going to jump out and let you take a look of some extensive damage.
They've already put, Byron, if you can give them a shot there, LSU Tigers win the national championship right here outside of the dome, and you see plenty of orange filing out.
We will not stand for bigotry. We will not stand for racism.
We have to handle this. We have to talk about this.
Do not complicate this process by adding more conflict to this.
As tempers flared over the renaming of Lee High School at a packed school board meeting 2 weeks ago,
I'm getting emotional about this because this affects me. Not just me, but every single student inside of this system.
Records show EBR school board member Connie Bernard's attention may have been somewhere else. She has since denied the allegations that she was online shopping and says what folks saw on her computer during the meeting was a pop-up ad. But her search history the 9 News investigators have uncovered tells a different story, showing Bernard was shopping for more than an hour from just before 8:30 all the way until about 9:45 that night.
Topic that nobody wants to talk about, so it's a lot easier to just kick it down the road and say, oh, we'll talk about it later, you know. Well, the things that are happening in our society right now, we're pushing this forward anyway.
Even as those right next to her were busy discussing the importance of removing the Confederate general's name from the school, her search history reveals Bernard was on this website, threadup.com, browsing for discounted women's clothing. Specifically, she was looking at these two jackets, and records show at one point she even added something to the cart.
I'm going to have to agree with my colleague on moving forward immediately.
The records do not show whether she actually went through with the purchase, but from our analysis of her history, she was continuing to shop not just during the Lee discussions, but prior to that, while board members were discussing adding a new position at the school board office and during discussions about a vendor that provides COVID-19 prevention products for schools.
Will Aramark be hiring more staff?
While the records we were given did not show she was shopping during the public comments about Lehigh, they do indicate she was shopping as board members introduced the name change and during some of the board members' comments. Video from the school board's live stream shows her apparently scrolling while board members are talking, and at one point she can even be seen reaching for a cord to plug up the laptop during that meeting.
And you sit your arrogant self in here and sit on there shopping while the pain and the hurt of the people of this community is on display, because you don't give a damn and you should resign.
She was later called out during that meeting, something that has since gotten national attention, sparking a number of calls for her to resign and a recall petition. But so far, the board member says she's not going anywhere. It was an early morning smash and grab at the Oak Terrace gas station that unraveled just as quickly as it got going.
Have you ever seen anything like that happen here?
No, sir. I ain't never know nothing happening in Gonzales like that.
Never had to experience this. This is very disheartening.
Two men caught on camera around 3 this morning peeling into the parking lot before trying to make off with the store's ATM.
I just think it's just a waste of time and energy to put into all of this. It's just awful. I really wish they catch them.
Gonzales police are on the hunt for the pair and the white GMC Sierra pickup truck they were riding in. You see, one was wearing a motorcycle helmet, with the other disguised in a red hoodie. The would-be thieves ended up walking away empty-handed, but not before making several attempts to try and tear into the business. First taking a couple of bricks like this one and smashing in the front window, then using their truck to ram the front door. Moments later, the video shows the men tying a chain around the ATM, and when they try to yank it out of the front door, the chain snaps, forcing them to finally give up and take off.
All of this was absolutely for nothing.
Folks who come here all the time say whoever's behind this should be ashamed.
That's a low-down, dirty bastard. That's what that is.
Get a job and stop committing senseless crimes. It's too easy to just get a job and make your own money than to do something like this.
While they failed to swipe the cash, the duo did leave behind plenty of damage. The glass is busted out of the front of the business, and inside one of the support beams is cracked and all but ready to fall.
Doing that much damage to a store, and not only the store, your truck, hey, you got to go to a body shop. And guess what, buddy? Everybody looking for you now.
Police are asking anyone with information to come forward, and tonight customers we spoke with say those behind this can run, but they can't hide.
This is a very small community, and I guarantee you those people will be caught.
Heat is on for Republic Services.
This time of year is always the roughest.
The company has now kicked things into overdrive to make good on their latest promise to customers.
We feel like we're ready. We'll be able to keep our routes up and keep the trash off the ground.
Republic says they've hired new drivers, secured new trucks, and brought in a team of supervisors, all to prove to you they can do better.
We're going to give it our 100% and to do that.
We hit the streets with veteran driver Terrence Johnson, who's using the recent mountain of complaints as motivation.
We really don't like to hear negative stuff, but like I say, it's our job to make it right.
Johnson collects woody waste, things like limbs and other debris you leave at the curb. His truck, one of nearly 100 that canvasses the city each day from 5 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. One of the things you may not think about is how much time drivers actually spend in and out of the truck climbing these stairs to make sure you get the quality you deserve. I even got the chance to get in on some of the pickups, and trust me, it's not quite as easy as it looks.
A lot. There's a lot.
Some of the piles we came across, though, just don't cut it, whether it's tree removals like this that fall on the contractor who cut them down to haul away, or even where you put your piles. Republic says some things they just can't collect.
It delays the routes. The driver has to call us and let us know, and then it upsets the customer as well.
And I've just learned that because of the limbs in our trees preventing the cloth from coming over to pick them up, that's why they weren't picked up.
This homeowner says she's been wondering why her pile wasn't picked up, and today got an answer.
We would have just wondered and eventually probably made a phone call trying to figure out what was going on.
While we have still gotten the occasional complaint, the company says they're doing everything they can to make it right. And this driver tells us he's committed to regaining your trust.
It's crunch time. We got to. We have to do what we got to do.
Now, if you still have questions tonight about what you can put at the curb and where, we've made it easy for you. You can find all of that information inside the 9 News app. As soon as they got it up, this big sign along Highway 77 in Plaquemine had to be covered. Without warning, the Lions Club appeared to be taken over, and what was being advertised in its place, well, it was enough to possibly make the past presidents hanging on the organization's walls blush.
Turning into an adult video store.
You heard that right. Adult videos, books, and God knows what else on sale 24 hours a day. It caught many drivers off guard this morning, and Sheriff Brett Stassi says it didn't take long before the calls started rolling in.
There were calls coming in all day, and I don't know how fast they planned on wrapping up the sign, but now they have it wrapped up, and we're still getting calls.
They may have wrapped it up, but the seductive signs also sent a shiver up the spines of many on social media after the Iberville Parish Council finally had to throw up a post explaining this was not a sign of things to come, but all of it actually for a much less risque purpose.
This is just going to be for a movie. It's going to be up for a week or so. They're in town filming.
It's just a prop in a movie. That's it.
With several of you mixed online over the possibilities, some were genuinely concerned at the thought of XXX content creeping into the parish. For the most part, though, many, including the councilman who represents the area, took it as a joke.
I passed and saw it too because I live right in that area, and I'm a member of the Lions Club, so I just got a kick out of it.
Celtic Studios is keeping most of the project a secret, but one scene, we're told, finds one of its characters showing up to the adult store after a crash, all while a fight breaks out at some point in the back of the property.
I mean, we don't have a whole lot happening here in Plaquemine, so that was interesting.
Well, it seems like a lot more action than this small town can handle. Stassi says, rest assured, porn is not coming to his parish. So no adult movies in Iberville Parish, at least right now.
At least now, and hopefully never.
Yeah, guys, we saw folks risking it all right here along Government Street. And tonight, while some may think they just made it past those floodwaters, experts tell us that may not be the case. When it rains, it pours. And for some drivers, it's still pouring days after flash flooding swamped parts of Baton Rouge. As repair shops get slammed with cars that took on water, the experts tell us more could be on the way.
What most people don't realize is how little water it takes to damage the car. Water as little as maybe 4 or 5 inches can do damage to a lot of the newer cars.
Louis Altazan with AGCO Automotive tells me they've gotten about half a dozen cars in, all of them full of water like this gutted out Hyundai. He says you can try to do it yourself.
At very least, open all the doors, open all the windows, put a fan in it, let it dry out that way. That may help.
But he admits the best fix may be to leave it up to the professionals. You better act fast though, because if you took your chances through the high water, you've only got a small window to get everything checked checked out.
You've got about a week to 10 days at most to get in there, get the interior out, get it dried, get it replaced, whatever. But once it has started to mold, you got a health hazard.
Most cars that went through those floodwaters look like this, gutted out so the interior can be cleaned up. But experts tonight tell us even if your car didn't get water on the inside, there may be some problems under the hood that you need to get checked out.
So this is where the air comes in from underneath the car.
From the air filter to the transmission, even the wheel bearings, a little bit of water can do a world of damage. It's why Altazan says even if you think you made it through the high water, chances are you didn't, and those problems may not pop up until much later.
That happens quite frequently, yes. Problems may show up months later.
While we often tell you to turn around, don't drown, Altazan says you might want to consider turning around to save your wallet.
That might be a bigger incentive.
Hours after floodwaters had their way with Marion Jilk's backyard, you can still hear the extra water draining underground, but she says it's better there than what she woke up to this morning.
There was nowhere for it to go, nowhere. It was just shooting up.
Not only was the water gushing by the gallon onto her property, the drain was blown off and whatever was on the other side was marching its way straight toward her home. They've seen it before, but this time, she says, was different.
Another 45 minutes, it would have been in the house, yes. It would have. But we were really blessed. We were.
But that blessing may not hold up for the next time heavy rains target her neighborhood. Anytime it comes down in Baton Rouge, repeat offenders like the Acadian Underpass, the Governor's Mansion Curve, and yep, parts of Nicholson have become notorious for taking on water. But now it seems even more pockets of pavement are also starting to fill up fast. Elected leaders say what Mother Nature unloaded on the city this morning, though, was simply unfair.
The heaviest rains came during rush hour traffic, dumping approximately 3.5 inches of rain across the parish in a 30-minute to 1 hour time frame.
Mayor Sharon Weston Broom's administration says they were doing everything right and the pumps were firing on all cylinders, but still the city parish resources were overtaxed.
We had a lot of rain that fell in a short period of time, and our system cannot handle this type of rain event.
Transportation and Drainage Director Fred Rayford says the proof is in the pudding, pointing out that once the rain stopped, most places that took on water were dry within hours. It's something that even back here in this homeowner's yard seems to be true.
It's not long after that it's gone.
Even though the water may be gone now, she still says it's past time for action. Jilks tells me her husband cleared all of this out of the drain this morning. They're doing their part to prevent flooding, and now they're hoping the city will deliver on a long-term solution. The Broom administration says they recently got the green light for $15 million in federal matching dollars to move ahead on the Stormwater Master Plan, a 2-year process city leaders promise they are aggressively working to make good on.
I understand the citizens' frustrations, but as any other issue, it takes perseverance and oftentimes, unfortunately, it takes patience.
But maybe a drain, another drain.
As long as some progress is being made, this homeowner says she can spare a little patience now in exchange for some long-term peace of mind later.
If it works like it's supposed to, it's the greatest peace of mind we can have.
That shocking discovery was made just off campus this afternoon, right near the bank of the Mississippi River. While details in this one are still scarce, there's no shortage of questions investigators are now working to answer. The picture-perfect views from atop the bluffs at Southern University were anything but Tuesday afternoon. Instead, the space overtaken with crime scene tape and a team of law enforcement crawling along the west side of campus. The reason, something unthinkable. A body found around 3 o'clock at the bank of the Mississippi River.
I think everybody's just kind of in shock that this even happened.
William Doran and his class from LSU were on campus for a project when they made the gruesome find.
It looked like a body or maybe some clothes or something, and when they got closer, they got kind of nervous and called me down there, and I went to look, and we weren't sure.
He immediately called police and told his class to get away from the water.
Honestly, I sort of went into crisis mode.
The most important thing, to make sure his students didn't panic.
I told them we're all okay, we're here together, just sit back and nobody leave because the police may have more questions for us.
The interruption of an otherwise routine Tuesday drew students, staff, and administrators from their buildings to get a better look, as investigators spent hours combing the area. While many students did not want to go on camera, they tell us they're concerned and have a lot of questions like who this person is and how the body ended up here. The university released this statement encouraging students to avoid the area and extending their thoughts and prayers to the family of whoever this body turns out to be. However, they stopped short of saying more as the investigation continues to unfold. Now, we're in constant contact with police as they continue to work this case. Of course, any updates we'll pass along to you on the 9 News app. Reporting tonight from Southern University, I'm Scotty Hunter, WAFB 9 News.